Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5:30.
We begin tonight with breaking news. An investigation's underway after a possible E. coli infection that could be related to the Red River Valley Fair. Thanks for joining us. Andrea has the night off. The North Dakota Department of Health is looking into the infections. 3 cases have been reported, and all are people under 18 years old. One of the cases has been diagnosed with a rare and dangerous complication of E. coli. It's called hemolytic uremic syndrome. These infections can cause abdominal cramping, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. If you have any questions, you're asked to contact the North Dakota Department of Health. The number is on your screen. It takes a special person, a sexual assault nurse examiner, to conduct a rape kit investigation at area hospitals. It takes hours to complete a process of taking samples and filling out paperwork for a rape kit. And it might end up collecting dust in an evidence locker for years. Valley News Team's Bradford Eric looks into how area law enforcement process rape kits and how many are going untested.
It was signed back in May by Minnesota Governor Mark Dayton. This bill mandating by August 1st that each sheriff and chief of police prepare and submit a report listing the numbers of untested rape kits they have and why they've been sitting on a shelf.
You know, maybe 1 or 2 for the city of Moorhead, and it certainly could be 0.
Lieutenant Tori Jacobson with Moorhead Police says his department either gets the rape kit tested right away or keeps it only for a short time.
If a circumstance is something like known acquaintances and maybe the one party isn't going to be a complainant, no charges will be pursued.
He says if, in the course of the investigation, there becomes no reason to get the DNA evidence, they won't.
I am a registered nurse.
The local law enforcement agencies partner through the hospitals for the sex assault examination.
We open our kit by breaking the seal. It has to be a sealed kit to make sure that there's been no tampering.
Megan Williamson with Sanford Health walked us through a rape kit.
So there's separate bags, paper bags, to preserve the evidence so it doesn't mold by the time it's tested.
It's extremely thorough, getting any and every kind and type of sample you could think of. She says it's not uncommon for an exam to take 4 hours.
It's definitely hard hearing some of the stories and looking back into my own personal choices.
As a nurse, and more importantly as a person, Williamson says it's often tough to do a rape kit. She says patients run the gamut of emotions, from horror to sadness to even no expression at all. And it's important to remember, men can often be the victim of a sexual assault too. Bradford Eric, Valley News Live.
Now, we also talked with Clay County Sheriff Bill Bergquist about untested rape kits in his department, and he says they have none. Traffic was pretty slow going after a 2-vehicle crash that sent one person to the hospital. The crash happened around 2:30 this afternoon on I-94, about 7 miles east of Moorhead. Traffic was reduced down to 1 lane. The crash involved a semi hauling a track hoe and a pickup pulling a camper. The crash caused both vehicles to go into the median. One person did have some non-life-threatening injuries. A stolen vehicle didn't get very far after the driver rear-ended another vehicle. Grand Forks police responded to the incident in the 3000 block of Gateway Drive. The driver of the stolen vehicle, Brandon Posey, was arrested for the theft of a motor vehicle, driving under the influence of alcohol or a controlled substance, reckless endangerment, care required, and unqualified operator. It's believed Posey was speeding during the time of the crash. Well, to our weather, it's a nice, quiet summer day. Sure feels nice after all those storms last week. Let's go to Lisa Green for the latest on our evening forecast. Lisa?
Steph, it's been a nice break from the active weather we saw. This dry spell going to continue a little while longer, and that includes tonight. Temperatures are in the 70s, very pleasant outside, 77 degrees in Fargo and 76 in Grand Forks. The wind is on the lighter side, too. We were seeing some winds this weekend that kind of took away from the nice weather. Looking at the radar in the Northern Valley, just a couple of showers trying to work their way through along the international border. Otherwise, things are looking quiet for us for the rest of the evening hours. Southern Valley should remain on the quiet side through the evening and the rest of the night tonight. It may get a little cool for some of us through the overnight hours as we clear out across the region. And tomorrow may just be our last dry day. We'll be talking about that and a big warm up coming up here shortly in your forecast.
It's nice to not have all those storms to worry about right now.
Exactly. It's a welcome break for a lot of folks.
It is. All right. Thank you, Lisa. Tonight, we take a closer look at a major Minnesota crime mystery who stole Dorothy's ruby slippers. You can earn $1 million if you can solve the mystery. Valley News Team's Neil Carlson takes us to Grand Rapids, Minnesota, the birthplace of the star of The Wizard of Oz.
Welcome to Grand Rapids, Minnesota. It's the home of the Judy Garland Museum. Garland is the star of the most viewed movie in film history, The Wizard of Oz.
Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road?
It was Dorothy's magical ruby slippers that eventually led her home in the film, and one day landed at the museum in her hometown. Dorothy's ruby slippers were on display at this museum until 10 years ago this summer. Someone broke in the back door, smashed the display case, grabbed the slippers, and within less than a minute, left with an iconic piece of American film history. It was a shocking crime to an anonymous, wealthy Arizona Wizard of Oz fan who's now offering a major reward for the return of the slippers.
Very pleased to announce that a reward has just been offered for $1 million to aid in the process and speeding up the process of having the perpetrators either come forward or someone that knows the perpetrators to come forward.
The anonymous donor was inspired to offer the reward following an unsuccessful search for the slippers in June.
The Itasca County Sheriff's Department did some dives in one of the mine pits here. There's been a theory that the slippers were thrown in a mine pit. They did not find anything, but it generated great publicity.
In fact, this story has now gone worldwide from a place where Judy Garland once rode this carriage, originally owned by Abraham Lincoln, into film history. From Grand Rapids, Minnesota, Neil Carlson, Valley News Live.
There were actually 3 other pairs of ruby slippers used in filming the movie, one at the Smithsonian, another at the Motion Picture Museum in LA, a third pair just purchased by a private collector for $2.5 million. If you'd like more information on how to be a part of that $1 million dollars to collect for the slippers stolen, we have it online. Go to valleynewslive.com, click on this story. Drivers in Moorhead should expect lane closures and possible delays starting later this evening on westbound I-94. BNSF Railway will be repairing the railroad bridge over I-94 at 20th Street. Crews work will be from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., lessening the impact on traffic. Work is expected to take about a week. There are only a handful of airports that have them, nursing stations for new moms on the go. But now those moms are fighting back, including a few from the House of Representatives. Congresswoman Sherry Bustos of Illinois is co-sponsoring a bill that would make sure airports have safe sanitary stations to nurse their child. It's called the Friendly Airports for Mothers Act. It would require commercial airports to provide private rooms for breastfeeding mothers in every terminal. A study of a group of 100 airports found only 8 of them provided private nursing rooms that met the minimum requirements. The much anticipated Sanford Medical Center is getting a little closer to completion, and we got a look at the exterior. The site saw its final panel put into place today. Material used is known as precast exterior, coming from a family-owned business based out of South Dakota. The final panel has a cross and the O on the Sanford logo. It's a historic symbol that was used as a rally point in battle, an emblem of liberation and a crusade for health. Fargo is one of 12 cities chosen to celebrate Navy Week. So this week, men and women in white uniforms are going to be filling the streets of Fargo. The U.S. Navy is the nation's first line of defense. Today, demonstrations, storytelling, and games were enjoyed in the greater FM area. Dozens of events have been planned throughout this week to help share career opportunities and the importance of the Navy.
100-year anniversary of the Naval Reserve, so we're celebrating that in parallel. And we've got a lot of hands-on opportunities for young folks here, including the virtual reality technology that you tested here, and then we also have some robots here.
Now, there are more than 75 events this week, starting with the Navy Band at the Fargo Theater at 7, ending with the Fargo Air Show with the Blue Angels. For more on these, go to valleynewslive.com and click on the hot button. Valley News Live is hitting the road, and we'd love to meet you. Join us as we ride the rails of the Red River Valley and Western Railroad. July 27th and 28th, our team is going to be doing our newscast live from the train. We'll be stopping in 8 towns over the 2-day trip. On Monday, we start in Breckenridge for the Valley Today. Then we move to Kindred for North Dakota Today. Our noon show is live from Castleton, and then we will be live from Lisbon for our evening newscasts. On Tuesday, we're live from Lemoore, Verona, Oaks, and Gwinnett. Come out to meet our team and tell us what's great about your community. Watch for Valley News Live Riding the Rails Monday and Tuesday, July 27th and 28th. Well, still